What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about Bruce Lee and how I think he would fare in the UFC. This is a topic that people bring up quite often. They say that Bruce Lee was, the man. He could beat anyone in the UFC. He was a lot faster, a lot stronger. They talk about the one-inch punch. They talk about his sidekick and how it felt like they were getting hit by a truck and all of these things. Okay, so let's say that there's a time machine. Bruce was in his prime. Let's say he's 28 years old. He had a couple years to practice his Jeet Kune Do after he invented it, which pretty much was mixed martial arts. Took a time machine, right? He got inside it and he came right now to 2013, and we put him in the ring with, we'll say, Dominick Cruz, since Bruce was, through the research that I found, about 135 pounds. They say, some sources say he went up to like 160 when he was doing his weight training, but let's say he cut weight, he dropped down to 135, he's fighting Dominick Cruz. Do I think that Bruce would beat Dominick Cruz, someone like Uriah Faber? No, I don't. I don't think he would. And here's my reason. Before you start commenting, listen, because my reasoning for it is, I'm going to get a little philosophical here. Okay, so in the 19th century, they used to say that it was impossible for a human being to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. And up until 1954, a dude named Roger Bannister beat it. He ran it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds or something. He beat it in less than a second. And, a year later, another guy did it. And then 10 years later, a 17-year-old high schooler did it. Like, it's just that once you unlimit yourself, unlimit your mind, or someone else does it for you and you see that the impossible can be achieved, or that these limits can be broken, that it's actually easier than you think. Now, I know Bruce Lee would agree with me, and he already knew these things, but it's hard to really wrap your mind around it. And I know that he taught that, but with the science that is around today, with the exercises and routines that are around today, the resources that are around today, and the way that these guys train with other guys who are at the same level as them, was much different than being able to do, finger push-ups or a one-inch punch or something like that. So I think that these guys have a lot more practical routines that they get to go through, where they're actually fighting, practicing sparring hours, 6-7 days a week, whereas Bruce spent a lot of his time acting and filming, or interviews, or studying. I will say that Bruce definitely was ahead of his time, obviously. Jeet Kune Do pretty much was MMA, okay? He combined a bunch of different martial arts. So I think that if Bruce were to go into UFC 1 or 2, where he were to fight Royce Gracie, Ken Shamrock, saying maybe if he was a little bit bigger, if those guys were a little bit smaller, I think he would have won those in his prime. But even more so, I think Bruce would be a great coach. I think due to how smart he was, and how he knew to study the body, the mind, and exercising and things like that, I think he would have been a great coach, a great cornerman, and I think he would have made a lot of really successful, really big named fighters in the UFC if he was still around today. Someone like Freddie Roach, I think he would be, like equivalent or greater than a Freddie Roach, or Phil Nurse, or Roberto Garcia. But the point is, I think he'd be a great coach. I think his mind was where a coach's mind is, whereas different than a fighter's mind. So, comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think Bruce Lee would be good in the UFC, or do you think he'd get completely crushed within the first round, get completely knocked out? Let me know. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, share the video. Big things are coming, guys. Stay tuned. Big things are coming with fight tips, so stay tuned. Can't wait. Be excited. I'm excited. Be excited. We're gonna win. We're all gonna win. Woo! See you guys soon.